Well, ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. After months of anticipation, we were treated to Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show, which in my opinion was the worst halftime performance I have ever seen. K-Bots, get to disliking the video. You know what you got to do. But I'm here to tell y'all the truth. That was mid at best. I'm sorry. It was trash. It didn't work. Kendrick Lamar cannot go hit for hit. Kendrick Lamar is not suited for the Super Bowl. Sorry. You don't want to sit here and try to interpret or find deep meanings in your performance. We just want to turn up, brother. That's what the Super Bowl halftime show is for. Play your hits, get people dancing, get people moving, introduce people to your music. If you can't do that, then you're not qualified. We're not here to try to get no dissertation on any sort of socio-political issue or none of that. It's not why we're here. I'm sorry. And I'm not one to believe that you should keep politics out of music, whatever. If you want to go ahead and do that, you can do that. But at the end of the day, that's not what the halftime show for the Super Bowl is for. Cats came to turn up. Kendrick can't do that. Sorry. He had one song that the crowd knew, Not Like Us. The best part of his performance was tied to Drake, which means that he needs Drake. The best part of his performance was tied to Drake. What does that tell you? This man's legacy is inseparably tied to Drake for the rest of his career. The best part of his, listen, you're supposed to use your Super Bowl as an opportunity to put a cap on your career, to show people why you belong. It's the same when Dr. Dre performed. He had all of the people, all of the rappers and musicians that he influenced, his legacy: 50 Cent, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Snoop, Kendrick. All of those people in many ways were the offspring of Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre used his Super Bowl performance to show his legacy. You know what Kendrick's legacy is? Drake. I'm sorry. He didn't even perform his best song. Don't understand that. Most of the people listening, first of all, the production was terrible. I don't know. They didn't do their mic checks. They didn't get the mix right. I don't know what they supposed to have done to figure out if the sound was working how it's supposed to work. It wasn't. So he came out there. Many people were talking about how they didn't even hear what he was saying. So that's bad, because if you're not performing your most popular songs, people at least need to hear what you're doing with your brand new songs. People couldn't hear, and he performed his GNX songs, an album that, it did relatively well, but people haven't really been listening to it like that for him to be performing it at the Super Bowl. But he did it. And at the end of the day, most people didn't connect with it until he got to Not Like Us, which basically, let's be honest, that's why we were watching this performance. And I think Kendrick knew it, which is why he was comfortable not doing his real hits, because he knows at this point his legacy is basically Drake. What is everybody really here to say? He even said, I want to perform my favorite song, but I don't know because they might sue. What does that mean? He knows at this point his favorite song, his entire legacy is attached to Drake and this song. It's his biggest song. He knows what the people want, and he's accepted that. I think Kendrick has accepted the fact that he is now only relevant with regards to Drake, especially at the level of national concern. Certainly, he's always going to have his hardcore fan base that know his real music, if you want to say that. But when it comes to a national stage where people actually know who Kendrick is, he's always just going to be attached to Drake. Hey, Kendrick, play that one song where you diss Drake. That's it. That's all we want to hear. And maybe All Right. That's it. And so he accepted that, and he basically teased the song halfway through the performance and then essentially ended the performance with the song. And as a Drake fan, I can admit he got his rocks off, okay? It was cool, you know what I mean? He had Serena out there. I mean, Serena, I don't understand what Serena's doing. Like, you need to just, you got a whole white husband. You just need to go to your white husband and just live with your white husband. I mean, I don't understand why you got a whole husband and some kids and you crip walking. And by the way, I heard that her sister was killed by the Crips, but apparently that didn't matter. She's out here crip walking to Drake, looking like a bitter ex in order to diss Drake. I'm like, come on, gang. All right, cool. Got their little rocks off. We were all wondering whether or not he was going to say Drake or whether he was going to say the lines of the song. He did say Drake. but he did not call him a PDF file. They edited that out, which to me tells me that he can't really stand on business with those accusations, right? I mean, he knows for a fact Drake out here, he's pulling receipts, he's getting his lawyers active, right? And to me, if you knew what you wrote was accurate and true and you ain't got to worry about being sued, you stand on business. Yo, listen, Drizzy, you be out here with these minors, so we gonna call you that. But the fact is, he couldn't call him that because it's not true. Drake don't be out here with no minors. So they had to edit that out because, I think in the NFL's mind, they think that they could defend if Drake sued this, I heard you like him young, right? Like that's alluding to Drake dealing with minors, but you could say, well, someone over the age of 18 is young, right? Like they let him say things that I think that they could defend in court should Drake ever sue. But calling Drake a PDF file, you really can't defend that. So he didn't say that part, right? They had some yelling sound effect when he said what he said. So at the end of the day, ultimately we got the point. Even though he didn't get the PDF file off, we got the point. Drake's dealing with minors, whatever. And I would say probably the biggest thing is he got the whole stadium to say a minor, right? So cool, he got that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't take that away from him. That's a clear shot at Drake. Everybody talking about Drake's done, Drake's this. He's not. Okay. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the only thing this Super Bowl performance convinced me of is that Kendrick ain't on Drake's level. He cannot. Listen, I've said it before in my previous videos. Drake will never be done because Kendrick is not an adequate replacement for Drake. We have known this. If Kendrick was an adequate replacement for Drake, he would have replaced Drake a long time ago. You have to understand, Kendrick and Drake are not new artists. We've known about Kendrick at least since Good Kid, Mad City, probably Section 8 if you really was into his music. But at least Good Kid, Mad City is when he blew up. That was what, 2012? 13 years ago, right? We've known about Kendrick Lamar. We've known about Drake, obviously. If Kendrick was going to be able to replace Drake, he would have did that a long time ago. But he is not Drake. Now, granted, he doesn't need to be Drake. He's still a great artist. You can't take that away from him, right? I'm not going to deny that. I'm actually a Kendrick Lamar fan. It's just that this beef has caused people to take sides. And if you're forcing me to take a side between Drizzy and Kendrick, I'm taking Drizzy 10 out of 10 times. I'm sorry. But I acknowledge that Kendrick is a legendary artist, one of the greatest of all time. Second place in our generation. It is what it is. But he's running in his own lane. He can never replace Drake. We know this to be true. This is why everybody rooted for Kendrick in this battle. Because you always like to root for the underdog. Let's be honest, right? Like when you're watching a TV show or you're watching a sports contest or something like that, don't people love to root for the underdog? The team that isn't good as the other team, but you're just hoping that they pull out an upset. Because people like to see upsets. That's why everybody was riding with Kendrick, is because they wanted him to pull off an upset against Drake. Not because he's actually better than Drake. We all know Kendrick isn't better than Drake. We all know this. We know this to be true. And the stats back it up. What did Jay say? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. We know the statistics. Okay, Drake is the best, certainly of our generation, probably of all time. And so at the end of the day, we know Kendrick is not as good as Drake, but people were rooting for Kendrick because they wanted to see the underdog win. They wanted to see the underdog pull off an upset. And Drake had been winning for far too long. It's almost like the Kansas City Chiefs, winning for too much. And then everybody got to root against you when you've been winning for so long. It just is what it is. And so people turned against Drake in order to root for Kendrick. But we got a stark reminder last night that Kendrick can't replace Drake. He doesn't have the bandwidth, doesn't have the hits, the ability, the catalog, just doesn't have it. We all know if Drake was to perform at a halftime show, it would be hit for hit for hit for 13 minutes straight, because you can't even put on a 13-minute show with the amount of hits Drake got. It would just be banger after banger after banger, because Drake got too many hits to do in 13 minutes. Okay? Kendrick can't hang. And now that this halftime show is over, I'm very, very happy that we can finally put this Not Like Us beef whatever you want to say, put it to bed, can move on with our lives. I mean, who knows, it might reignite on some other stuff, but at the end of the day, like, the song and what Kendrick done is over. It's finished. He's gonna go on tour now, and then we might not hear from this guy for another 3 to 5 years. He's gonna go back into hibernation. Okay, he got a huge manufactured past year. The industry manufactured all of the wins that Kendrick got. I'm gonna say it here. Drake won the beef. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Song for song, bar for bar, Drake out-rapped Kendrick. Thank you to DJ Mustard for giving you a good beat that you could dance to. Okay, cool. But bar for bar, Drake out-rapped Kendrick. And as far as I'm concerned, when I'm judging a rap battle, I'm looking for bars, I'm looking for facts. Okay? All this stuff about a fake daughter, snitching, all these huge accusations that Kendrick made against Drake, false. And he did not beat Drake bar for bar. Drake won. Sorry, I'm standing on that hill, I'm dying on that hill, and the more I listen to these songs, the more I'm convinced Drake is better than Kendrick in every way, shape, or form except storytelling. I still think that Good Kid, Mad City is the magnum opus of Kendrick Lamar, and it is probably the best storytelling on a hip-hop album ever. Drake can't do that. But in every other category, when it comes to rap, bars, flow, tonal, sound, whatever it is you do, Drake got it all. He's better. Sonically speaking, better to listen to, better raps, everything better than Kendrick Lamar. Okay? It is what it is. It's facts. And because the industry knows this to be true, they manufactured a win against Drake. The whole internet manufactured a win against Drake. This is what it is, because of the level of hate that Drake inspires in people, because he's been winning for so long, everybody decided to rock out against Drake. Cool, y'all all turned your back on Drake and manufactured this win for Kendrick. Okay, and then one of his ops, Jay-Z, decided to give Kendrick the Super Bowl because of, again, hatred for Drake. The Grammys, who Drake been dissing for God knows how long, also decided to give 5 Grammys to Kendrick. This whole run that he's been on, manufactured, fake. This is why I can't respect it. Even though I think that Kendrick is a phenomenal artist, everything about this run was fake, and I don't respect it. And he got exposed last night for the Super Bowl, because we all seen with our own eyes that this man cannot, he wasn't qualified to be on that stage last night. He don't got the catalog to be on that stage last night. But because the ops is riding against Drake, he got what he got. So cool. He got what he got. But people who are actually paying attention and ain't out to just hate on Drake, we know what we saw. Okay? So his whole manufactured run, it's now come to an end. To me, the Super Bowl was an L for Kendrick, and he essentially attached his entire legacy to Drake. In a moment where he could have shown for himself why we should respect him and respect his catalog and respect his artistry, the biggest moment was his performance was attached to Drake. And that just goes to show you who Drake is. Because I can almost guarantee you, if Drake does a Super Bowl, he don't need to play his diss records. The man got enough hits, he probably won't even touch his diss records. Okay? Maybe if he wanted to get some get back, maybe he would, but he certainly wouldn't need to. And I think the biggest get back for Drake would be to not even do a diss record should you ever perform at the Super Bowl, just to let people know, I don't need to talk about the other guy. The other guy needs to talk about me. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. It's been Providence. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. See you guys in the next video.